Hello and welcome to Totally Bookish. We have ambient noise in the background. My cat, Mango, and you'll probably hear my dog barking shortly. I've just let her outside, but it's just typical the moment that I went to press record. Okay, welcome. Thank you for joining me here at Totally Bookish. Today I'm going to do the Newbie Booktube Tag, or the Booktube Newbie Tag. And it will help to introduce me, I think, and apologies for anything that goes on in this video. I did put a recording up and previously a few weeks ago, and it was so poor quality, even for me, that I felt very uncomfortable showing myself. And it's not the kind of thing that I will overcome. I just don't want to show myself. So I figure this kind of non-visual will not work for many people, but it may work for some. And it's right. Yeah. Let's answer the first question and then it will explain perhaps why I want to do this. So why did you start this channel is the first question. I started this channel as a place to record my reading. I'm very, very bad at keeping records of anything. And I start off enthusiastically, and then before long, too many things occur and that just gets put to the wayside, or I just lose interest in recording and just want the enjoyment of listening to things or reading things or whatever it is that I happen to be doing. I can't stick consistently to making a note anywhere. So this was going to help me, I think. Also, I want to participate more greatly in the Booktube community. I should say more often, not more greatly. And nothing's stopping me, but I really wanted to have a little space where I could share the books that I'm reading and possibly encourage others to read those books if I enjoy them. I already take up many of the suggestions given by other booktubers on what to read, or things that might be of interest to me. So why not reciprocate? Okay, you'll hear me turning pages because I have some memory difficulties, so it helps to keep prompts of what to say. And also the questions I couldn't possibly remember. This is number 2, what are some of the unique things that you can bring to YouTube? Well, firstly, as you'll see and hear, low quality YouTube content is high on what I can bring. Also, I'm a mature reader. I'm sometimes an immature reader as well, but I'm a mature reader, a booktuber who has chronic illnesses to contend with. So most of my reading is via audiobook and ebooks. Holding a physical book is quite challenging due to pain issues. So, yeah. Question number 3. What are you most excited about for the channel? I'm so sorry if you're not into cat language. There's a lot of it going on right now in the background. And I usually respond, you see, so he's probably confused as to why Mummy isn't going meow, meow. Okay, you didn't sign up for that, did you? You might not be signing up anyway. What are you most excited for? I would say I'm mostly interested rather than excited. I'm really interested in making booktube acquaintances and possibly friendships, and hearing about new to me authors and introducing authors, as I said before. And I'm interested in whether or not anyone will enjoy my content, as strange as it is. So, yeah, I'm quite curious about that. Question 4. Why do you love reading? Well, the answer is varied. As as is the genres of books that I read. I love reading because it enhances my life. It broadens my mind and it educates me. It helps me to grow as a person. It helps me to grow mentally and emotionally. It connects me with others whose stories I am reading, whether factual or fictitious. And I just love the communication, the means of communication of other people's ideas. But above all, I think reading is my preferred method of entertainment, my preferred form of entertainment. I don't watch the TV. I do have access to being able to watch DVDs through my laptop. And I do have some series that I'm quite fond of, but I don't really watch any TV unless it's on YouTube. And then I can watch documentaries or other people's Booktube content or fibre crafting videos, which is a huge passion for me, the fibre crafting. And so what I most love about the reading is, and it is the reading, is that I can fibre craft and listen to books or sometimes even read ebooks while I'm pursuing those interests. Question number 5. What book series got you into reading? Well, that would be, in the UK, I'm sorry about the dog barking, we have a Peter and Jane series of books by Lady Bird, and my generation learned to read from those books, certainly in England at any rate. They had, I think they contained like the most used words, most often used words, and so that was how I got into reading. I believe those books were also called Dick and Jane in America, but we don't use that over here, and in fact Dick has long been used as a derogatory term, although it is of course a name for Richard, and we have had many King Dicks. I won't say anything about the current monarchy. So that's how I learnt to read. Where do you read? No, that's not that. That's not that. Right. Okay. So question 6. What questions would you ask your favourite booktubers? So I had a little think, and the only thing, well, I could come up with 2 things, but the question I would ask is, what is the most memorable or meaningful book you've ever read? What would it be? Question number 7. What challenges do you think that starting a Booktube channel will be hardest to overcome? That would be consistency because of poor health and also my technical ineptitude and inferiority complex. Number 8. When did you start reading? I wasn't really around readers as a child. My parents were very loving and gave us everything that we needed, but we didn't have money for luxury items, and I didn't see my parents reading until I was quite a lot older, in my teen years probably, and as I hadn't witnessed that as an example, I suppose, primarily my interests were in music, listening to music. I was, So it wasn't until I was much older that I got into reading, found my love for and passion for reading. Number 9. Where do you read? I read everywhere. I read in a living room where I sit a lot. In the kitchen when I'm pottering about, in my garden when I'm pottering about, in my car when I'm driving, or if I'm in the car waiting and I'll be knitting and reading. In hospital and doctors' waiting rooms, just about anywhere that I can read and knit at the same time. But sometimes just reading, So anywhere, basically, that I can feasibly read. Number 10, what kind of books do you read? I read a variety of books. I like fiction and non-fiction. I have a passion for classics written by British authors, and also not science fiction, no, fantasy, and murder mystery, and also some cosy reading, which I would put on kind of a par with elevator music. It's what we call lifts over here in the UK. It's almost like an ambient noise. Sometimes I will re-listen to things because it's just comforting, and you don't necessarily have to re-listen to the words. You just let it. It's like a piece of music, almost. Some audiobooks, if you're so familiar with them. Right. Anyway, that wasn't what the question asked. So, question 11: what does your bookshelf look like? My bookshelf looks varied. I have a lot of knitting and spinning and crochet and fibre crafting books. I have a lot of physical books that I can no longer read because of problems with holding a book comfortably. And I, as I believe I've said, listen to audiobooks and ebooks primarily. I was considering calling this podcast, vlog, whatever it is, A&E Books, but that in the UK, A&E stands for Accident and Emergency, where you go if you've lopped your arm off or something, which you pretty much have to do in our current NHS to get any attention. So what my bookshelf looks like is a virtual bookshelf of well over 1,100 books on Audible, and I also listen to books on my Libby app and through other means on the internet. And YouTube has a lot of recorded books on there. I also read ebooks via Kindle primarily. I don't actually have a Kindle. I use the Kindle app on my phone or on my ancient iPad. Well, actually, I don't use that anymore because it doesn't even start. But yeah, so sorry about the ambient pet noise. So my shelves, virtual shelves, are very varied in content. I'll just name a few authors and then I'm going, because you don't want to listen to that for much longer, or me perhaps. So some of my favourites are, let's see, Agatha Christie, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, James Oswald, Jodie Taylor, George Orwell, Jane Austen, Daphne du Maurier, the Brontes, and Charlotte and Emily, Mary Shelley, George Eliot, Elizabeth Gaskell, I always say Gaskell for some reason, Dylan Thomas, Anna Sewell, Jussi Adler-Olsen, Ben Aranovich, J.R.R. Tolkien. I have written also some names, James Maxwell. I listen to some fairy porn, which is Sarah J. Maas and Jennifer L. Armentrout. It's kind of fairy porn or fantasy porn, really. But I also enjoy Deborah Harkness, Bram Stoker. Have I said James Maxwell? I think so. Michelle Paver, Dostoevsky. Who else? Ilona Andrews. Robert Jordan, Sue Black, Oliver Sacks, so many. So there's quite a few to be getting on with anyway. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to leave it here and see you next time.